Morning.
Well, nice to see you.
Whenever you're ready, Matt.
1 in 1,000. 1 in a million. Long shot odds. If you happen to be the one, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it depends on what you're talking about. If it's hitting the lottery, it's very good. But if it's being hit by lightning, it's very bad. But what I've learned from my own personal experience is that it's not always so clear-cut. You see, I was the one child in 700 that was born with cleft lip and palate. Cleft lip and palate is a birth defect that occurs when the upper tissues and palate do not properly fuse in the early stages of pregnancy. At the tender age of 2 months, I was on the operating table and they were closing the gap in my lip. This was the first of what would be many surgeries. By the 6th grade, I already had half a dozen under my belt, but even I wasn't prepared for what would happen next. I found out I was going to lose a tooth because the bones in my mouth couldn't support the roots of my teeth. And this wasn't even the worst part. The doctors said that I would have to go on a liquid diet for 6 weeks to allow the bones to properly heal. Now, I'm not the skinniest person you'll see, and I love to eat, so this is going to be a big problem. But I found a solution when I was able to convince myself that soup was just as good as steak. And it worked for about 2 days. For the next 6 weeks, I could have killed for a hamburger. But I forced myself not to sneak any solid foods. And at the end of this ordeal, I was a little bit lighter and a lot more self-disciplined. As it turned out, that same self-discipline came in handy a few years down the road when I could see the end to the long and trying road. This time, the doctors were going to dislocate my jaw and move it forward. Forced once again to wear a mouthpiece, I had to go on a liquid diet. But this time it was a little bit easier. Maybe because I've been through it before, or maybe it was because I could see the end. One day as I was in the hospital, I decided to go for a walk. While I was on this walk, I met a boy named Tyler. Tyler was bald. He was 10 years old. Tyler was suffering from leukemia. While he had every excuse in the world to have a negative attitude or feel sorry for himself, Tyler was actually the most positive person I'd ever met my whole life. I asked Tyler how he stayed so positive, and he said that each day was a gift, and he'd be glad to live as many of them as he could. Up till then, I considered myself pretty unlucky to be born with cleft lip and palate. But here was a child who was in a situation which could hardly be much worse, that was still laughing and joking and making the most of the life that he had. The lesson I learned that day is this: if it's true that life deals us each a hand, what's of lasting importance is not necessarily how good the hand is, but rather how we choose to play it. As I look back on my childhood, I realized that being that one child in 700 wasn't that bad after all. It gave me self-discipline and strength of character. Ultimately, it's led me to my career goal. You see, I want to become an orthodontist when I grow up and specialize in children born with cleft lip and palate. Through my advice, my help, and my care, I hope I can show these children that long shot odds don't have to be a curse. They can be a blessing. Thank you.